Yo, what's up everybody? It's me, WDMichael, and in today's YouTube video, I wanted to talk about the recent Knoxville Regional. It was my actual first IRL event. It was my first regional event. Like, this was just a really big first for me. And as much as I really wanted to just go over like a team preview, there was so much more that happened during this event that I really wanted to talk about. So this will be an educational video because we will talk about the team rental that I did take because I am a massive VGC competitor. I love competing in events like this. But also there was a lot more to this trip than just me competing in Pokemon VGC, and I definitely want to talk about that as well. So we'll just have a nice relaxed YouTube video kind of chatting about the regional. But yeah, so I think first off, let's get the team out of the way. It was the main reason why I went, was to actually compete in my first IRL event. So let's talk about the team, and then after that we'll kind of talk about some of the other stuff that happened, which was really cool. So let's hop into the video now. All right, so first off, let's go ahead and get this team out of the way. It was the team that I used for the Knoxville Regional. I wanted to feel really comfortable coming into this event. It was my first IRL event, and I knew that I was going to be really nervous. So bringing a new team that I wasn't really comfortable with really didn't seem like the best option for me. So I did spend some time with Nuntaro. Nuntaro is an absolutely fantastic Pokemon VGC player from Thailand, and I wanted to get some experience and some knowledge from somebody who's been around a little bit longer than I was. And Nuntaro gave me a really awesome team to use during this event that featured the one big combo that I really wanted to use, which is the Maushold and Annihilape. I thought this combination was really good right now. It was really strong. It gave me some options, some pivot options that I was able to utilize, and like I felt comfortable with this combination. He threw in a couple of new things for me that I was still comfortable with, but also new for the meta that didn't really and I didn't end up actually seeing a lot at this regional. So I definitely did feel like I had a little bit of surprise while also having a team that I felt comfortable with. So it was really awesome. Big shout out to Nuntaro. Thank you again for your time over this last week for the Knoxville Regional. Your coaching was, I mean, really like the key factor, the reason why I walked in this event not feeling lost or confused, or just I didn't feel nervous, and it was really nice. So I cannot thank you enough. If you're ever going to be going to a VGC event, IRL events and stuff like that, and you feel like you're nervous as a first time, definitely make sure and look into coaching. There's a lot of really amazing VGC players in this community who provide really amazing coachings on Metafy. Nuntaro is the one that I went with, as I just haven't really spoken with him a lot, and I do like to kind of, every one of the coaches has a little bit of something different to bring to the table. I've gotten coaching with JoUX9 before. I've gotten coaching with Jin Fury. I've gotten coaching with Nuntaro. I've talked to Paul Chu. So I've talked to a lot of these different creators, and they all provide something a little bit different. So I really, if you're feeling nervous, take some time to go and reach out to somebody. Go and see what somebody else's perspective is, because it really help you feel a little bit more comfortable when you go to these events. From my own experience, I can say that the coaching was crucial. It made me just feel just that much better. So highly suggest. And again, Nuntaro, thank you again. You are fantastic. It was amazing talking to you for those couple of hours we did. So as far as the team goes, so the team really has the main combination of Maushold and Annihilape. That was the two Pokemon combination I really wanted to work with. They're very strong. When you have a normal and a ghost type with a redirection, there's always the problem where you get into your opponent's head with the 50-50. Do I Shadow Ball? Do I Draining Punch? You're like, how am I going to adjust, or how is my opponent going to play? And you get that mental game into here. So I really like those two Pokemon for that specific reason. The other reason is that Friend Guard is really good. Not only for helping Annihilape get the boost on his Rage Fist by providing some damage mitigation when you are getting hit, but also just for any of your other Pokemon. Anytime it's on the field, your other Pokemon isn't going to get hurt as much, and it's really nice. I ended up using it a lot in Sword and Shield, and it was really helpful then, and it's now in Pokemon Scarlet Violet, still being used to this day with a different Pokemon in Maushold. So an amazing Pokemon, fast taunts, beat up to help get the Annihilape with its massive Rage Fist boost. Just a really fun Pokemon to use. And on top of it, we have the safety goggles, so we're not getting our redirected from our beat ups, which is huge. You don't want to get your beat ups redirected or go to sleep. It provides you a nice wall counter to the Amoonguss or any other Pokemon with those powder moves. It's amazing. It definitely helps your Annihilape do what it needs to do, getting bulk ups and doing those kind of things. Outside of that, the Ghost Terra will help with your Maushold in some of the other aspects. A Drain Punch or a Close Combat will almost certainly one-shot this Pokemon, so having an option to, if you see in Game 1 that they went for the Close Combat right off the bat to kill your Maushold, maybe game 2 or 3, you switch it up on him and you drop a Ghost Terror. And it's actually exactly what I did when I played with GeoUX9. In the first game that I played with GeoUX9, I noticed that he went right for my Maushold and killed it on turn 1. In game 3, when we got to game 3, I brought my Maushold and Annihilape again, and I took notes that he did do that in game 1. And what I ended up doing was I Ghost Terrored my Maushold in game 3. He close combated, and I actually saved myself a turn just from taking down some notes and figuring out how my opponent was going to play. So readjusting and having other options like that is just, it's crucial, and it made a lot of fun, and it definitely helped me out by taking players like Joe to a game 3 situation, which honestly most of my matches in Knoxville when we ended up losing did go to a game 3. They were close, and it was really, honestly, it was this team just gives me a lot of options to do that with. On the other side of this, we do have a Roaring Moon. So Roaring Moon is one of the other big opening Pokemon for the team. One of the big things with this is you do have Tailwind, and you also have a Fairy Terra Terastallization that's going to cover for a lot of the fairy damage you're probably going to end up taking from Fluttermanes, or just Mimikyu was another big one we ended up seeing. And just and Dazzling Gleam and DD was another big one that I ended up seeing. So having that option to really cover your 4 times weakness on the Roaring Moon, massively helpful. And plus, to be honest, in Knoxville there wasn't a lot of Pokemon with steel coverage, so the Fairy Terra felt really safe in almost all of my matchups because I wasn't going to be taking any super effective damage. Poison, on the other hand, is also kind of irrelevant and isn't really popping up that much. So honestly, the Fairy Terra was really good. Having Breaking Swipe on the team with the Arcanine, just like that combination, I was able to mitigate a lot of damage while also having Snarl. So you have Intimidate, Snarl, and Breaking Swipe. It provided me with a lot of options to mitigate a lot of damage, which also helps when you're trying to boost your Annihilape. The more you can mitigate damage from the other team, the more times you get hit with your Annihilape, which means the more times he has the option of just absolutely destroying your opponent. So that was really good. I really liked the pivot factor on this team. It was really helpful, and I was able to live a lot of hits that I probably wouldn't have otherwise without a lot of these moves. One of the other really big things that me and Nantaro talked about, which was really fun, was our Sylveon is actually a little bit faster than most Sylveons, and it did catch one of my opponents off guard in Knoxville. By bringing the Roaring Moon and Tailwinding turn 1 and then also Hyper Voice, I was able to have a really fast Roaring Moon while also having a really fast Sylveon with Hyper Voice, and I was able to sweep a couple of teams with this combination just right off the bat in game 1. So that was another really good opening combination that I had a ton of fun with. The Sylveon did great. Hyper Voice, Water Terra helped me a lot with the water teams that I faced, like the Palafins, the Pelipers, and I think we also found a Buizel when I was in Knoxville. So Water definitely popped up a bunch, and it was nice to have another Pokemon to deal with that. The Sylveon also was really good into Pokemon like Fluttermane and stuff like that I saw in almost every one of my matches. So Sylveon, really great. It did end up getting knocked out a couple of times to some not Baxcaliburs, but King Gambits. King Gambit was one of those Pokemon that really caused me a lot of problems in this tournament. It's really strong, and we started seeing a lot of double Defiant teams with like Defiant King Gambit and Defiant Annihilape, and so having this Arcanine on the team definitely was challenging at times. It's super helpful, it's a great Pokemon, but there are definitely times where you need to realize that there's some threats on the other side that just don't do well with this Pokemon. And so with the Arcanine, it is also a little bit different than maybe other Arcanines that you would have seen. So this one is it's a full attack boosted Salt Vest Arcanine with a Ferretary and Play Rough. It did a lot of work. There was a couple times where it caught people off guard. They weren't expecting to do as much damage as it was going to. Killing Fluttermanes, killing other Pokemon that are weak to fairy moves like Baxcalibur. We got a couple of those in one shot. So it was a really fun Pokemon to bring, and I definitely enjoyed the change up. It helped me with a lot of my Armarouge and DD games, as well as any Fluttermane and stuff like that. Fluttermane and Iron Moth were another big one that helped a ton with. So really great Pokemon. You just got to really make sure you know when to bring it. And then honestly, one of the biggest Pokemon that I brought in a ton of my matchups, because I was constantly facing T-Tars and Great Tusks, and almost every one of my rounds in Knoxville was Iron Bundle. I brought this Pokemon all the time in almost every game. It was just too good not to bring. Focus Sash means that I'm gonna be living a lot of single target like into my one Pokemon, so it stayed around a lot. and providing me with a nice speed control with the Icy Wind that ended up helping me outspeed a lot of things like my Annihilape or my Sylveon later on in the game as it came out. So yeah, honestly, the Iron Bundle, fantastic. I hadn't used it a bunch before this event, but after using it, I can see why it is just so popular. It helped a ton. So yeah, overall, this team was fantastic. Again, thank you so much to Taro for helping me out with this team and getting this team set up for the Knoxville Regional. It played really, really well. I had a lot of really tough matchups. Opponents were really, really good. And for the most part, I did not feel like I got absolutely stomped in one of my games. They were all really close and a ton of fun. So if you like this team, definitely make sure you hop on and check it out in Series 2 before it's gone. And let me know how you think, and I will definitely redirect some of the information over to Taro, who made the team. So again, thank you so much for checking out the team. Now that we've kind of seen the team and how it worked throughout the regional, I wanted to kind of talk about the other aspect of the Pokemon Regional that honestly really was my favorite part, to be honest. Like, playing as a Pokemon VGC player at a regional event is an experience all on its own, but it wasn't the best experience. And the reason is because there was something else that was just so much better, and let's go ahead and talk about it now. So as a lot of you know, I did start streaming at the kind of start of the COVID pandemic. So I really only started playing Pokemon competitively and playing competitive Pokemon really at the start of Sword and Shield, or kind of midway through. So when I was streaming for those last 2 years, I had never met any of the people in the Pokemon VGC community, and it was, to be honest, it always kind of sucked. I met a lot of really cool people in this community. I was never able to actually meet them in person like a lot of the players who had been playing for a couple of years have been able to do by going to all the other previous regional events and just kind of meeting everybody. For the most part, I felt like a little bit of an outlier in the Pokemon VGC community for a little while, just because I don't have any of those real connections with these people. You know, meeting people online is great and all. You do get to build connections, but those connections aren't as set in stone as when you meet somebody in person. When you meet somebody in person, it's so much different. It puts a different perspective on the actual situation and the relationship you have with those people. And so going to this Knoxville Regional was a big, I don't know, it was a big event for me because I have not met any of you, and it was really, really cool to finally meet just so many people from the community. People who have played in my wide league tournaments, people that I've played against in VGC events, people that I've just spoken to for years and have just never actually met. It was a really just an eye-opening experience, and I'm getting a little bit teary just because it was really that, for me, this was an emotional experience. It was really, really awesome. I really appreciate all of the relationships that I built online. This has been one of the really, like, the biggest bright spots of my professional career as far as making content for the Pokemon community, and to be able to meet creators who I have strived to, that I look up to, or that I've strived to be like, as well as all the players that I played against. Like, it was really cool. And I just want to say thank you first off to all the people who came up to me and thank me for the wide league events. You have no idea how much it meant to me to hear all of your kind words about the Pokemon tournaments that I run, how much you enjoyed them, how much you enjoy just being able to be a part of that. And it was really, really awesome. So thank you all so much for that. It definitely made me have a new sense of purpose as far as what I'm doing in this Pokemon community and where I stand in it. So thank you. It was really, really cool. To all my opponents, so I played in the first part of the Swiss, which was about eight rounds of Swiss, because I dropped in the last round. And then on the day 2, I did play in a side event with the VG closed sheet best of 1. Throughout that entire event, I was able to take pictures with every opponent that I played with. The sportsmanship in the tournament was just amazing. From people losing the games and still taking photos with me and being friendly after the event, to people that beat me and were also still friendly. Like, it was really, really nice to see the level of maturity and the level of sportsmanship that this community has. It was amazing. And it really made the event that much better. So for everybody that I played, win or lose, you guys were fantastic. And thank you for all the photos. It was really, really nice. I got to take a bunch of photos of content creators that I really liked, that I've looked up to, and I've taken photos of a bunch of the people that I met and all the competitors. It was really cool. So I I want to actually throw up a slideshow of all the people that I was able to get photos with at the end of this video. So stick around after this ends, because we'll see all those awesome people that I was able to meet throughout the event, and some of the other people that like we stayed with at the Airbnb and stuff like that. It was really cool. So I wanted to showcase all the amazing people that I met, because you guys were really amazing. So again, thank you all. I hope you have a fantastic day, trainers. I will catch you in Paldea here later on, but for now, enjoy the slideshow. Peace out and later.